Hello and welcome to How to Double Your Business in 12 Months. My name's Tim, I'm Head Ninja at Exposure Ninja, and today we're going to be looking at a planning process that you can use for digital marketing. And as you'll see, it's called a profit first planning process. So what we're doing is we're identifying your profit target, your business growth target, and I'll show you how to develop a digital marketing plan that hits that target. So it's called How to Double Your Business in 12 Months because we've used this both ourselves to double our own business, and we've used this with client campaigns to double their business, and in fact significantly more than double businesses as well. So hopefully you find this useful. Digital marketing can seem really overwhelming. There is so much to try, so much to learn. So this is a framework that you can use to kind of tie everything together, make it manageable and reduce the overwhelm, because you just have to pick up the next thing, right? Just pick off one thing at a time and go through that process rather than just trying to get everything right all together. So hopefully this is useful. For those who don't know me, my name is Tim Kitchen. I'm the UK's best-selling digital marketing author. I'm also Head Ninja at Exposure Ninja. And these are some of the books I've written. And in fact, that Ultimate Guide to Content Marketing and Digital PR is actually written by two of our managers. And then I added my Tim, they call it Timification, and some touches at the start and the end. But so we're known for educating businesses about digital marketing. Exposure Ninja is a digital marketing agency. We do websites, SEO, pay-per-click, social media management for businesses of all shapes and sizes. But this video today, this exercise is not about selling our services at all. It's about giving you a framework which you can use whether you're working with an existing digital marketing company or whether you're doing your own digital marketing. And in 4 years, we've grown to 60 ninjas. As a result of using a kind of clear and concise framework, which is exactly what I'm going to be showing you today. So talking about the process that we're going to go through today, as I say, we've used this each year to double revenue at Exposure Ninja. This is how we do it for our own business and also for our clients' businesses, which is why retention is good, which is why we help more people, and that's why we grow so fast. Basically, this is all about helping you prioritize your digital marketing over the next year. It avoids the classic marketing overwhelm that you can often feel, when you see a competitor maybe running some Facebook ads and you think, oh, I've got to get Facebook ads, they've got to be on my to-do list, or I'm really not doing enough for my email marketing, I really need to sort that out, or maybe I need a new website. You can have all these things flying around in your head. So many opportunities for growth that one of the most common kind of responses to all that opportunity is that people just completely freeze up, or they try, they half-ass a few things, nothing really comes of it, and then they end up getting disappointed. So this is kind of here to make a clear path that you can very easily follow, even if you've got absolutely no experience. The whole process is completely pain and dairy free. Before we go on, it's important that you download the worksheet below. This is not some kind of gimmicky thing. This is really useful. We're going to be doing some calculations. You're going to be working out your target profit, your target revenue, and how many customers you're going to need each day. Now, we are going to have to do some calculations. This is not like maths homework or anything like that. There are some super basic calculations which will be really useful and give you a tangible target to work towards every day. Now, all of the kind of setup and the calculations for that is all on this worksheet. So I'm going to be referring to the worksheet as we go on. So it's going to be really useful if you have it. So download it. Even if you just grab a pen and paper and then you just jot down the answers, it will be useful to have the worksheet either for later, or if you want to print this out and actually fill it in as we go. So what sort of goals are we setting today? There are lots of different types of business goals, all very worthy. So one of the main types of business goal is contribution. So how much do we want to give to charity? What sort of impact do we want to have on the world around us? Sustainability. So what sort of impression do we want to leave on planet Earth? And, are we going to be carbon neutral? Are we going to offset all of that stuff? We might have market share goals. So do we want to dominate a market? Do we want to go to a second position in the market? How do we want to play compared to our competitors? Some businesses will also have recognition or status goals. So if you're an entrepreneur-led company, you might want to be a global authority on your topic. You might want to be known around the world for what it is that you do. So you might have a goal which is not necessarily tied towards profit, but actually tied towards becoming known and becoming an authority. Those goals are all super worthy, but we're not going to be bothering with any of those today. The only thing that we are focused on today is revenue and profit. This is a profit first process that you can follow, which means that we identify the target profit first, and then we work backwards from that to develop a plan which results in that target profit. So that's guiding absolutely everything that we're going to do today. Those other goals are great, but they come out of a profitable business. So we fix the profit first, and then we can take care of all the other stuff. Before we get started, there are only 3 ways that any business can make more money. I just want to quickly run through them. We're going to be focusing on just one of them today, but I'm going to hope that you're taking care of all 3 of them. The first way that a business can get more money, make more money, is to get more customers, right? Pretty straightforward. So more people in the top of the funnel. This is the thing that we're going to be focusing on today, using your digital marketing to increase your visibility and get more people onto your website. The next way to make more money is to make more sales to each customer. Okay, so we can do this 2 ways. We can either do this by increasing the frequency of the sales that we make. So let's say that somebody is a customer, and on average the customers last for 2 years, and on average during that time they buy from us 3 times. Well, we could say, okay, we're going to increase the number of follow-up emails that we send them, or we're going to sell complementary products. So we're actually going to increase that from 3 purchases over the 2 years to 5 purchases over the 2 years, and then we'd make more money, obviously. The other way to do that is to increase the customer lifetime. So let's say that our average customer buys from us twice per year, and on average they buy from us for 2 years. Well, what we could do is we could work on ways to increase that from 2 years to 10 years, because that will give us a much bigger customer base, making more sales and making more profit. The third way of making more money is to increase the profit of each sale. So this is about reducing margin, maybe justifying a higher cost, adding on different products, complementary stuff, upsells, and all of that sort of stuff. Now, the fastest results come from a combination of all 3, because if we can double each of these, so if we can get twice as many customers, if we can double the number of sales to each customer, and we can double the amount of profit from each sale, that doesn't double our total profit, that actually multiplies our total profit by 8 times, because each of these compound. So I'm trusting that you're taking care of all of these already. We're going to be focusing primarily on number 1, which is a good starting place, because then once we make changes to the other 2, they're going to have a significantly bigger impact. So here's the exercise that we're going to go through. First thing we're going to do is we're going to identify how much profit that you want. Okay, really important first step. We need to have a clear destination if we're going to make a journey which is actually going to get us there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to identify how much revenue you need to make in order to get to that profit target. This will then tell us how many customers you need per month, which we can use to see how many website visitors you need, which we can then use to see how much marketing you need to do. So as I say, it's profit first. We identify the profit, and then everything else is designed to get us to that profit target. If we set up a plan based on profit, we follow that plan, we will get to our profit target. So that's what this is all about. So let's get stuck in then. First step is to set your 12-month destination. I really like this picture because for me it illustrates perfectly the beauty of a 12-month plan. So you might know the destination at the end of that bridge, right? You know that that bridge is going to take you over the river or the sea or whatever. Because it's foggy, you can't actually see all the way along that. That's absolutely fine. You know, you trust that the destination is on the other side. So all you need to do is just keep walking along that bridge and you will get there. I think that's a really good metaphor. I'm not normally a big one for kind of esoteric metaphors and all of that, but I think this is a really good metaphor for the best digital marketing plans and the best business growth plans in general. You see clearly the destination, even though you might not necessarily know exactly how to get there. The important thing is just set your plan and then just follow every day, just smash each day, you will get there. So on this day next year, we're going to be thinking about what our business looks like in 12 months time. And we're specifically going to be looking at things per month. Okay, per month is a really good time frame to look at because it allows us to make changes to our business quickly and see results without having to wait an entire year. So if we look at yearly revenue and we set a target for yearly revenue goals, for example, if we make changes now, we're only going to see a change in a year's time once we look at our yearly revenue and say, hey, do you know what, that did make a difference, or oh, that didn't make a difference. The trouble with that is that's a massive length of time to wait. It's a really long feedback loop. So a month is good because it gives us a much quicker feedback loop. We can see the effects of any change that we make to our marketing and to our visibility. And we can really start to scale. So much better way of doing things. So the first question is, how much profit do you want to be making per month? And remember, this is on this day next year. So on this day next year, you're looking back and you're happy with your business, you're happy with the growth that you've seen over the next 12 months. What is your leftover profit, the money that you've got left after running your business per month? Now, one of the things I've noticed that's really important to bear in mind here, we need to choose a number large enough to excite you, but within reach enough that you believe it. So it needs to be large enough that it's a significant motivating factor. When you need to put in some time that you'd really not rather do, you have to answer some emails on Saturday morning, or someone calls you and you'd really rather not take the call. If you've got an exciting profit goal, you will take that call, you'll do those emails because you know what it's going to mean for you and that's exciting for you. At the same time, it's important to choose a goal that you actually believe in, because if you don't believe in the goal, if you're kind of a little bit skeptical in your mind about whether you can ever hit it, you'll disregard the entire plan that you make. When things don't immediately go to plan, which always happens, when things don't immediately go to plan, you'll say, do you know what? I didn't really believe I could get there anyway, and then you'll leave it. So this is often why New Year's resolutions don't succeed, because the desire, the importance of that goal is just not enough. It hasn't been built up enough. So the want isn't enough to resist the chocolate when it comes down to it. So write this down either in your worksheet or in your notebook, if you're working on this on a notebook, and write it in terms of 50k profit per month, or whatever, 500k, 5 million, whatever your profit goal is per month. Now time to think a little bit more about this profit target and put a little bit more personality and meaning behind it. What does this profit target actually mean to you? Right, what does this enable you to do? This is super important because, again, we need to care about this profit target. If your goal is just a number, it can be quite difficult to motivate yourself just towards a number. So I like to put it in terms of physical things, right? I'm quite materialistic, that's just how I am. So I like to put it in terms of physical things. So I'm going to buy a particular house or a particular car when I get to that target. So I encourage you to do the same, whether it's a contribution thing, you know that you'll be able to pay for X or donate a certain amount of money, whether it's because you'll be able to do things for your family and take them on holidays or whatever. I think it's really important that you have some kind of tangible result that comes from hitting this profit target. Another thing I want to say is don't be afraid of what motivates you. If you are materialistic like me, that's totally cool, right? That's absolutely fine. If your goal is to make a load of money so you can get a sick house or whatever, fair enough, let's do it, because you're going to help a bunch of people in the process. So don't be afraid, and don't kind of shy away and say, oh, you know what, this is really important to me because I want to give all this money to my charity or my family or whatever. I want to spend more time with my family. If it's a car that drives you, that's totally fine. Just be honest with yourself, because this is all about you and finding the things that you can use to tweak you and make you do the things that you know you want to do. So just a little bit of my own story. As I say, I'm pretty materialistic. When I first did this exercise, this was the car I was driving, Rover 200. It wasn't actually that car. That one's a scrap one. The only picture I could find of this car in that colour was smashed up, right? It's not an accident. It's not the best car in the world. It was a 1.1 litre engine. I'm a drummer as well. I used to stick my drums in the back. And when I had my drums in the back and I had a hill, I used to get people beeping their horn behind me because it just couldn't take the hills. There was a hill right outside my house. So as soon as I left my house, turn left, go up this big hill, crawling, absolutely crawling. It infuriated me. The picture of the car on the screen is actually slightly better than the one I had, because the one I had only had two hubcaps, missing both front hubcaps. I got pulled over by the police in this car. And actually, this was a really important moment for me. I asked the policeman why I was possibly pulled over. It was the middle of the day. He said, the words are kind of burnt into my brain. A car like this attracts a certain amount of attention. And at that moment, I was like, right, forget it, this is over, I'm done. What the hell am I doing in this piece of crap car that humiliates me? That's probably why I'm so materialistic. So immediately I got home, stuck a picture of the car that I really wanted on my wall, and every day when I did this exercise and I was visualizing exactly where I wanted to be in a year's time, I'd be looking at that thinking, I'm going to get out of my current situation, I'm going to get to something I'm happier with, which makes me feel better about myself and better about the work that I'm doing. I actually didn't get that car, that's a 3 Series. I actually ended up getting a 5 Series, and then this is the car that I now currently drive. This is when I just bought it. This was really cool for me because I'd spent a lot of time kind of working on this, and as I say, this has been a big driver for me. So it's a badass Range Rover Sport. It's got all the gear. It's lovely. I love it. So that's me. I'm materialistic. Whatever your thing is, you need to get it down. Make sure you actually really care about it. So on this day next year, how much profit do you want to be making per month? Choose a number that's big enough and get it down on the paper or in the worksheet. Once you've got that profit number, it's time to figure out your target monthly revenue. So you know your profit margin, or you should know your profit margin. So that allows you to calculate how much revenue you need to hit your profit goal. If you don't know your profit margin, then firstly, you need to find it out. But for the purpose of this exercise, you can estimate, you can guess. If you're going to guess, then make sure that you're on the conservative side. So if you think your profit margin is 20%, but you're not too sure, then maybe go 15, maybe go 10. I'd rather that you overshoot your goal than you come up short because your profit margin isn't what you thought. So if you're going to estimate low. So taking your profit target and your profit margin, how much revenue do you need to hit your goal? So there's calculation in the worksheet, or you can do it this way. Target. So let's say that your target is 50k, right? You're getting started with a target of 50k and your margin is 33%. You know that the total revenue required is 150k per month, because 33% of 150k is your 50k profit, right? Pretty simple. If your margin was 20%, you would know that you've got to hit 250k per month to get your profit target of 50k. So stick down your target revenue. Remember, this is your target monthly revenue. Okay? And if you don't know it, it's okay to have an estimate, but then later on go and find your profit margin. You need to know your profit margin anyway in business. Right, so once you've got your target profit, you've got your target revenue, it's now time to identify how many customers you need to hit your target. Right, the reason that we do this is because hitting a profit target, so just saying I want to make 50k a month or 100k a month or 200k a month or whatever, if you don't know what that actually means for you in terms of customers and sales, it's really difficult to get there because you're kind of aiming for something, and it's like driving and you don't see the speedo. You don't know how close you are until the end of the month and you see the profit number. So we work back from that and say, how many customers do you need per month to hit your target? Firstly, we need to understand how valuable each customer is. Right, we need to know how much you currently make from each customer, how much each customer contributes to your profit. Then we can figure out how many we need of them. So the standard calculation that people would do here is something called the LCV, or the lifetime customer value. This is the most common metric that people will use. So let's say that your customers on average stay with you for 5 years, and during that time they're worth £2,000. So you would say, okay, each of my customers is worth £2,000 over the course of their lifetime. Well, this number's kind of useful, but it's also kind of bullshit, because in the real world, you don't want to have to wait 5 years to get all of that value from them, right? If you're spending, let's say that your average lifetime customer value is £5,000, and of that, a profit is £1,000. Well, you might, if you use that LCV to say, okay, well, I'm willing to spend £500 to acquire a customer because I know over the lifetime, I'm going to make £1,000 profit from them. Well, you don't want to have to wait an entire customer lifetime to get that money back, right? That's not good, because you're going cash negative in the meantime to get those people in. You also can't necessarily know how much or how long your lifetime customer value is if you're relatively new. Exposure Ninja, for example, we've been going 4 years. We've got a lot of people who've been with us the whole time, so we don't know our average customer lifetime value because they haven't finished yet, right? They're still alive, they're still here. So this LCV is a pretty useless metric in the real world. So I'm going to propose something else instead called the 12 MCV. So this is your 12-month customer value. This is basically how much value each of your customers brings you on average over 12 months. So here's how it works. The value of your average customer over their first 12 months. So average customer and over 12 months. Anything that we get that's longer than that, so if your average customer lifetime is 3 years, that's fine. That's an added bonus. We're only going to assume that they're going to stay with us 12 months because that allows us to set realistic and hittable revenue goals and profit goals. If we're waiting for our customers to finish with us 5 years down the line, that's fine, but you'll hit your goals 5 years time. But no, this is a 12-month plan, so we're going for this. So here's how to calculate it. First thing, what's your average order size? So again, if you don't know, then make an estimate, but be on the conservative side here. Next thing, how many orders on average does each customer make per year? And now again, if you're a brand new business or you don't know this, then it's okay to make an estimate, be conservative, and then you can go and check this stuff later on. So let's say that your average order size is £500 and on average, every customer makes two purchases per year. Some will make more, some will make fewer. To get your LCV, you just multiply number 1, the average order size, and number 2, the average number of purchases per year. For example, £500 times 2 times per year is £1,000. £1,000 is your 12-month customer value or your 12 MCV. Okay, so as always, the calculations are in the worksheet, or if you're doing it on note paper, just do those numbers and get your 12 MCV. Now, once we've got that, we can use this to tell us how many customers we need to get per month to hit your revenue and profit goal. Okay, that's why we're doing this, because we need to know exactly how many customers you're going to need to hit your target. So you know your monthly revenue target. Say it's 150k in this example. You know your 12 MCV, £1,000 in this example. So all you need to do is divide your monthly revenue target by your 12 MCV. So in this example, 150k is our monthly target, divided by our 12 MCV, £1,000 equals 150 new customers per month. Okay? So that's your target, 150 new customers per month. Therefore, if you're hitting on average 5 new customers per day, you're going to hit your profit goal. That's what we really need to know. So once you've got that number, I know how many customers I need to get every month. Stick that on the wall. That's the target that we go for. Every day when you start work, you've got that number, 5 customers per day, right? I'm going to get 5 customers today. Bam, let's go. Now, some of these customers might spend only a small amount on their first purchase, but if their 12 MCV is that number, then you're going to hit your target. So we know our monthly profit target. We know the monthly revenue target. We know the 12 MCV. We know how many customers per month and per day you need to hit your goals. We've got one or two more calculations. We're nearly there. We've done the bulk of the maths now. So if you're starting to panic, don't worry. Stay with me. The next stage is to find your conversion rate. Okay, so this is how many people, I'll take you through it. So this is not your conversion rate inside Google Analytics, unless you're an e-commerce business. Okay, so if you have, let's say that inside Google Analytics and you're a service business like an accountant or a law firm or whatever, you might have a contact form on your site and you might have a conversion rate of say 1%. Now this basically means that of 100 people who visit your site, on average 1 will fill in that contact form. This is not the conversion rate that we're going for. We're going for the number of sales through your website, not just the number of inquiries. So if you have an e-commerce business, then this is your conversion rate, right? Because every sale is tracked as a conversion in analytics. So your sales conversion rate is the same as your analytics conversion rate. But if you're a service business or you're sending people to contact forms, then it's a very different conversion rate. And I'll show you the calculation just now. So the first thing you need to do is find out how many visitors came onto your website in the last 30 days. And if you don't know, go and get Google Analytics installed. If you're doing this for a new business, then you need to make some sort of estimate about how much traffic you're expecting on your site each month. Okay, so number of visitors to your website in the last 30 days. For example, we're going to use 2,000 as an example here because it's a nice round number so you can see how the maths works. The next thing we need to know is the number of customers your website generated for you in the last 30 days. This is not leads, this is customers, this is paying customers, okay? We're going to use an example of 50. Then all you need to do is divide that second number, the 50, by the 2,000, right? This is going to give you your conversion rate in a decimal form. So 0.025 is the conversion rate. You can multiply this by 100 to get the percentage conversion rate. So in this case, 2.5% conversion rate. This is not your contact form conversion rate, your analytics goal conversion rate. This is your sales conversion rate. So how many visitors and how many customers did we get out of those visitors? Really, really important. So go through the calculation in the worksheet and get your conversion rate down. Now, while we're on the topic of conversion rate, I just can't resist giving you some quick tips to boost your conversion rate. So if you're getting a little bit cloudy from all the maths, then don't worry too much. We're going to look at some ways to increase your website's conversion rate super, super quick. Okay, so this is completely unrelated to presentation. I just can't mention conversion rate without showing you some really cool stuff. So here's the first thing. Add a clear call to action on every single page. Here's an example of a website. Now, this website, this is a service page on a website. So these guys are business psychologists, and they offer a service called individual development. And on this page, in fact, on every single page of the site, they offer a free, no obligation consultation. Why do they do this? Because if someone's on this page and they're not really sure what they should be doing, or they're not really sure if they're right for them, here's a thing that says, hey, get a free, no obligation consultation. Nice and quick, really straightforward, just stick in your details, see what happens. This will, if you don't have this on your website, this will transform the effectiveness of your website. Just getting those forms on every single page of your site. You can see there's another call to action there that says contact us. So just a general contact CTA. Might be a phone number, might be an email form, whatever. Get one of those on every single page of your website. If you sell services, then add a low barrier to entry call to action, like a free consultation that we saw in the previous example. So what are they going to get if they take this free consultation? So book a free consultation now and we will help you discover the untapped profits in your business. It's a little bit like Exposure Ninja's free website review, right? We'll do a free website review, we'll show you what your competitors are doing, and we'll put together a custom plan for you completely free of charge, right? We've built our entire business on that. You then need to tell the visitor what to do. So stick your details in here, someone will be in touch within 24 hours, whatever, right? So remove any uncertainty from it, tell them exactly what they're supposed to do. Here's another example, which is something that we did, added it to the homepage of a solicitor's firm in London. So this website, they spent a huge amount of money on it. Unfortunately, the website was built by people who had absolutely no idea of marketing at all. So lots of traffic was coming to the site and nothing happening. We just added that contact form, request a free no obligation consultation. We make it clear exactly what's going to happen. So enter your details below and we'll be in touch to arrange a convenient time for a phone, Skype or in-person consultation at no charge or obligation. Just added that, they get a lead at least every day from it now. No other changes to the site, right? Here's a form. People are landing on the site, they don't know what to do. We'll give them this form. Free consultation, bam, now I know what to do, and then they start filling it in. So good quality leads completely transformed their experience of their website and their business just by doing something so simple. So get those on every page on your site. If you work with people locally, if you're a local business, is it immediately obvious where you're based? And I mean, is it immediately obvious? So as soon as I land on any page on your site, do I know exactly where you're based? Okay, fewer than 2% of people get to the footer of any website, but a lot of local businesses will put their contact details only in the footer. Absolutely useless because only 2% of people are going to get there. So the other 98% leave your site without knowing where you're based. Pointless. Right, if you sell products, if you're an e-commerce site, what can you do to increase your website's conversion rate? Well, add extra product images. If someone's in a store, let's say someone's in a store and they're buying an iPhone. Do they just look at one picture of the iPhone head on and then say, okay, cool, yeah, that's what I want? Or do they pick it up? Do they look at it from all different angles? Do they play with it? You know, do they see what it looks like really up close? Well, of course, they play with it. They see what it looks like up close. So we've got to replicate that with the images on your site. Video can also be a really good way to show people your products, show them how they can use them as well. It's also important that you add enough descriptive detail in your product descriptions. Here's an example on a website which I found, which is just absolute trash. So here we're selling a Burberry tartan laptop case for over £1,000. Okay, £1,000 for a laptop case is not an insignificant sale, certainly not an impulse purchase. Look at the amount of descriptive text about that product. It says Hambleton briefcase with smoke check print, leather details, leather handles, zip closure, removable and adjustable tool strap, inside laptop compartment, inside zip pocket, two inside open pockets, twill lining, steel finish, metal hardware, size and fitting. If I was a salesperson and I showed you one picture of a bag and then I read that to you, would you go, oh, sweet, here's £1,000, take my money please? No, you wouldn't. You'd walk out, you'd say, well, can I see it? Can I play with it? Can I see what it looks like inside? You know, oh, how does that work? How do the fastenings work? Let me see the pockets inside. What sort of size is it? You know, what sort of laptop size fits in it? None of that information is there, which makes it a complete washout. Reviews. Do your products have reviews? If they don't have reviews, then make your own reviews. I don't mean make up reviews posing as other people. I mean get on a video and show someone. This is how this phone works. So here are the things that you can do. Now, this phone is really good for people who are looking for X, right? So if you don't have user-generated reviews, make your own reviews. Label them as what we think about this product. That's absolutely fine. But the important thing is to give some sort of social proof and to show people what your product's really like. Is there a clear buy button on every product? So by clear, I mean, is it placed top right hand corner exactly where people would expect it? You can see this product here on in the Burberry laptop case. No idea what the call to action is there. There's a thing that says back in stock notice. Not too sure. The thing that looks most like a button is that first seen in January 2016, which is obviously not the call to action. So again, total washout of a website. Once someone adds a product to your shopping basket, is that shopping basket visible? Is there some sort of notification which says, hey, here's your shopping basket, click on it to check out? Really important. And can people check out without having to register? Forcing people to register will slash your conversions. Do you offer people multiple payment processors? Can they check out with PayPal? That's a really good way to increase conversion rates because it means that they can check out with just 1 or 2 clicks rather than having to put in all their card details. So that's really important. So that's conversion rates. Now we're going to go back to the goal setting thing, but I couldn't leave it alone without focusing on that stuff. So hopefully that's useful. So we know our conversion rate. We know how many visitors we get to the website, and we know how many of those turn into customers. So the next stage, in fact, I think this is the final stage. Yeah, this is the last stage of calculations, is how many visitors do you need on your website? So we've gone all the way back. So we've gone, here's our profit target. That means we need to make this much revenue, which means we need this many customers. We know our conversion rate, so we need this many visitors to hit all of these targets. Okay, so this is how we decide how much digital marketing we need to do, because we say this is how many visitors we need on our website every single day under current conditions to get to our profit target. Cool? Right, so we know our target number of daily sales. Let's say it's 5, right? This is from step 2. We know that your conversion rate from step 3, let's say it's 2.5%. So all we need to do to find your required daily visitors is take your target daily sales divided by your conversion rate, then multiply that by 100. So I need to make 5 sales per day. My conversion rate is 2.5%. So 5 sales divided by 2.5 equals 2. And then times that by 100 gives me 200 visitors per day. I know if I get 200 visitors on my website under the current conditions with the same conversion rate, even if I don't change anything else, if I don't make any more per sale, I don't add any upsells, I don't add any cross sales, I don't increase my prices, I don't increase the optimization of my website. If I get 200 people to my website per day, I will hit my profit target. That's what we're looking for. Then we just create a marketing plan which gets us to the 200 visitors per day. Super, super simple. So you can see how by going through that profit first thing, we get to something which is much more tangible. It's much easier to build a marketing plan which gets to 200 visitors per day than it is to get to, to get to a particular profit target without knowing these numbers. So once we've got our target of 200 visitors per day, the next step is to pick traffic channels. So this is where we start putting all of this together into a plan. Now, hopefully you found it useful just having a profit target, a revenue target, and a visitor target. Now we start putting it all together and turning it into a marketing plan. Now, as you know, there are a lot of different marketing channels out there. In fact, there are dozens. We might have organic ranking on Google. We might be doing some paid advertising. We might be using Facebook ads. We might be using Facebook organically. We might be using Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, email marketing, loads and loads of different channels. When we're thinking about traffic channels, it can be tempting to get overwhelming. Here's a cheetah attacking a flock of gazelles. And if you ever watch a cheetah attacking gazelles, what they don't do is just charge into the middle and say, right, I'm really hungry, I'm going to get me some gazelle. They look around and they spot a gazelle that they know they can pick off, and then they narrow in on that one and they track that one. They ignore the rest. Right, once they've got that one, if they're still hungry, they might go and get some more. But they focus their attention, and that means they're much more likely to hit their target than if they just go in and then they think, oh, who am I going to get? Who am I going to get? Before they know it, all the gazelles have gone, because the gazelles are only thinking of one thing. They're thinking of 1,000 things. In that sort of situation, who wins? Well, the gazelles win. Exactly the same with digital marketing. So you are the cheetah. All these different marketing channels are the gazelles. You've just got to pick one, lock onto them, chase it down, hunt it, kill it, and then move on to the next one, right? Don't just try and do everything all at once unless you got some help, because you can easily get really confused. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at all the different marketing channels. And while we're going through this, I want you to be thinking of, does this channel seem like something that I'd really like to build into my marketing campaign? Does this seem like something that I think my business could do really well from? If it does, then start to note it down in the worksheet underneath the channels. Okay? Right. We've got two different categories, or two different types of marketing channel. The first are long-term traffic channels. So these long-term traffic channels, as the name suggests, take longer to build. Okay, so for example, ranking at the top of Google, it takes a long time to do that. But the plus side of a long-term marketing channel is that generally they result in more traffic. So more investment to get them started, but once they're there, the traffic that they'll bring us and the profit that they'll bring us is much, much bigger. Now, these long-term traffic channels are also generally cheaper per visitor. So let's say that you get ranking at the top of Google for a really competitive phrase and you're getting 1,000 visits per day. Well, you're not going to be paying for each of those visits because you're ranking at the top of Google organically. Those are going to be essentially free. So that's really good news. If you're trying to get 1,000 Google AdWords visitors per day and you're paying £3 per click, well, that's going to be significantly more expensive. So these long-term traffic channels, the downside is that they take longer to build, but the plus side is that once you're there, they're much cheaper and the traffic is much cheaper as well. So which are these long-term traffic channels? Well, here are some of the most popular. SEO, so that's getting ranked on Google organically. Check out How to Get to the Top of Google if you haven't already, best-selling SEO book in Europe, and I wrote it. SEO is a really good channel because if you can get ranked on Google for phrases that your customers are searching for when they want to do business with someone like you, that's amazing, right? We're being found by people who are looking for us all day, every day. Happy days. Another long-term traffic channel, organic social media. So what I mean by organic social media is we're not paying for social media adverts. So you've got an organic social media presence. You have a lot of likes and followers. They check out all your posts. You're posting stuff regularly. without having to pay for it, and they are checking out your business as a result of this. Now again, that takes time to build. You have to build a following, you have to post a lot of content which they find interesting, but once you have that following, it's really, really good because those people are super engaged and you can get them to go to your website even without spending much money on advertising. PR and digital PR, more long-term traffic channels. So PR and digital PR, what's this about? Well, this is about getting featured in publications that your target audience reads. So it's one of the things that we do with our clients, getting them featured in whether it's trade publications or getting them talked about on blogs or by high authorities in their market. So basically getting your business shown on websites that your target customers are already buying from. So really good source of traffic here, because there's a lot of credibility and there's a lot of authority that comes with that. But it takes time to build that. You've got to build the relationships with the authorities. You've got to build the relationships with the bloggers or the journalists or the editors, whoever is writing for these publications. So it can take a lot longer to build that, but once you have it, really powerful and the traffic is really good. Another longer term traffic channel is blogging. So if you write a blog on your website, and hopefully everybody who's listening to this does write a blog on their website, this is something that you'll build up over time. So once you've got loads and loads of different blog posts, all addressing the most common, whether it's addressing common problems that your market has, or whether it's giving your market advice or showing them some cool stuff, it takes time to do that, right? That's not immediate. You don't immediately have a really busy blog. That takes time and energy. You've got to put that time in before you get the results. So another long-term traffic channel, but can be really powerful. And YouTube, another one. So building up a YouTube presence, getting your videos on YouTube. This isn't something that happens overnight. You've got to put the time and energy in. But once you do, you have a high authority channel with a lot of subscribers. That's going to be consistently bringing you traffic to your website at no cost to you, because you've already put the time and you've already put the energy in. So a lot of these long-term channels, you've got to make the investment first, and then they will continue paying off for, months and years to come. So that's how I'd think about these. Amazon, if you're an e-commerce company and you want to get your products for sale on Amazon, it takes a long time to get all the reviews built up, to get your rankings sorted, to get on the bestseller lists. All of that stuff takes time, but when you do, it's consistently coming in. So these long-term traffic channels take longer to build, but they can bring you a lot more visitors. Now, the other source of traffic is short-term channels. Now, by calling these short-term traffic channels, I'm not saying that you'd only use them for a small amount of time, or you'd only use them in the short term. No, that's not it at all. These channels are faster to see impact. So you can get some adverts up, and all of these are paid channels. You can get some adverts up and you can start getting traffic to your website very quickly. So you don't have to wait. You don't have to put the time and energy into investing in building these channels. You can just give somebody some money, get shown somewhere, and start getting some traffic to your site. Now, the downside of short-term traffic channels is they can be expensive if they're not managed efficiently. And even if they are managed efficiently, you're still paying typically for every website visitor that comes in. If you're ranking organically on Google for a phrase like, say, we got someone ranking top of Google for Dentist London, right? That's a traffic channel which is worth £300,000 in Google AdWords clicks per year. Right, so that's really, really cool that he's ranking there organically, because it means he doesn't have to spend £300,000 a year on AdWords. Right, that's pretty cool. Facebook ads, a really popular short-term traffic channel at the moment. You can get the ads up nice and quickly, but once they're there, you've got to keep paying for them to be shown. Doesn't mean they're bad, it just means that you got to be conscious of this. And whichever channels that you choose, it really depends on your time frame that you're working with your business. So if you're a brand new business, you don't really have any visibility, you're going to be using some short-term traffic channels to start with, because you need people on the site from the word go buying. Then that's going to enable you to make some profit, which you can then reinvest in longer-term traffic channels. So it's not saying that short-term is bad and long-term is good. Most successful businesses use a combination of both. So Facebook ads is a good one because it allows you to target people according to their interests and their behaviors. Google ads, really good, because if you're trying to rank organically using SEO, that can be quite tough. You've got to put some time in, you've got to put some energy in. With a Google ad, you can just get shown at the top of the listings, just pay some money, pay your entry fee and you'll be there, right? So a good way to get shown in front of people who are looking for what you offer if you need those people quickly, like yesterday. Product listing ads, so Google Shopping ads, good if you're an e-commerce business. Twitter ads, they're okay. Honestly, I haven't seen too much ROI with Twitter ads, not for us or for our clients. The advertising platform is a lot more basic than Facebook. Doesn't really give you as much data. But there are businesses out there that are using Twitter ads effectively. So if you know that your audience spends a lot of time on Twitter, that can be a good thing to test. LinkedIn ads. Same deal, LinkedIn ads are super expensive. If you know that you're targeting people that spend all their time on LinkedIn, let's say you're in recruitment, that could be a good channel to test. Worth testing. You don't have to commit to it forever. Have a play with it, see if it works for you. If it does, great, continue, scale it. If it doesn't, kill it. And YouTube ads, a channel that very few people ever touch because they can't be bothered making videos. That means it's also pretty good value. The barrier to entry is higher, so it's not just like writing a little text ad for Google. You've got to make a video, you've got to get it all set up in AdWords. It's a bit of a nightmare, but that means it's cheaper traffic. So that can be a really good thing to do if you sell something that's instructional or you want to demonstrate something to people. Now, here's one thing that I've learned working on hundreds of campaigns for very successful companies and not so successful companies. There will usually be 1 or 2 traffic channels which bring in more traffic, sales, and profit than all of the others combined. Okay, now you might already have one of those, but you might not. Even if you have one already, you might not know if it's the biggest traffic channel for you until you test the others. So this is the deal, right? For a lot of businesses, ranking well on Google is a complete game changer. If they rank well on Google, they know that they're going to be fine. For others, scaling Facebook ads, having a strong YouTube presence, that might be their 1 or 2 traffic channels, which really brings them in more than everything else combined. But the trouble is, you don't know until you test it. So it's really important that you test as many of these channels as you possibly can to find out what works best for you. And that's what we're going to be doing in this plan. Okay, so now it's time to pick your channels. As I say, without testing each channel, you won't know how awesome it is for you, okay? So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna pick the ones to test. This is super low commitment. We're not saying we're gonna try LinkedIn ads for 12 months. We're saying we're gonna run a test on a particular traffic channel like LinkedIn ads for a month. We're gonna see what happens, and at the end of that month, we're gonna say, cool, this is working well, we're getting conversions, or we're gonna bin it. That's it. So we're not committing to anything. We're just saying we're going to run a test. We're going to see what happens. Now, my advice is to choose to add 1 or 2 traffic channels to test per month. Depends how much time you have available. If you're working full time on your marketing, you can add some more. But usually we say add 1 or 2 if you're doing this stuff yourself. Obviously, if you've got help with this, then you can add more. But it's important that you give each one its proper time and attention. Don't just set up one ad on Facebook, run it, doesn't work, say, Facebook isn't any good for me. So, time to choose your channels. Here are all the long-term channels, and here are the short-term channels. So, make a list of all the ones that you know that you want to try over the next 12 months. You'll see space in your workbook to do this. There are no right or wrong answers, and I'd suggest having a combination of the long-term channels and the short-term channels. If you just rely on SEO, organic social media and YouTube to grow your business, that's totally cool, but you have to realize that you might be waiting 6 to 12 months to see significant increases in traffic. So what you might want to do in the meantime is to test Facebook ads, Google ads, maybe some YouTube ads to see if any of those is bringing in a significant number of visitors in the short term. That will give you the cash flow to continue investing in these longer term traffic channels, which will be the things that allow you to really scale this. Now, you can have a look at the different traffic channels that your competitors are using. So do you know that all your competitors are ranking well on Google? Well, if so, then that's probably something that you want to test. Do you know that your competitors are active on social media? Well, if so, then you probably want to be there as well, because that's something that, there's some proven ground there. So just write down all the channels that you want to test. Now, one of the questions people have is, what if I see a channel that none of my competitors are in? Well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to be a good channel. Normally that means one of four things. The first thing it can mean is that that traffic channel is too much work and they can't be bothered. YouTube ads, for example, not many dentists advertising on YouTube. Why is that? Because they can't be bothered setting up the ads. It's a complete pain in the bum. You got to get into Google AdWords. You've got to make sure that you've got, nicely filmed video with a strong call to action. Most people just can't be bothered with that, so they just say, okay, I'm not going to bother with YouTube at all, not because it's not a good channel, but because I can't face the setup. So if you see that, hey, that might tell you that you should be there. The other possibility is that that channel isn't even on your competitor's radar, right? They're not even thinking about it. It's just never occurred to them. It might be something that they've tested and they've had some really bad results because they're absolutely terrible at it. Right? So let's say that we run some YouTube ads and we just send everyone to the homepage of our website. Well, we're going to get pretty rubbish results from that. So we might conclude that YouTube ads don't work and we might stop running them. So just because you see competitors not using a channel doesn't mean that they've tested it, they've decided it's no good, and that they've moved on to other stuff. So I'd say always test everything for yourself, even if you think it might not work. Now, obviously you want to prioritize these channels. So once you've got the list of all the channels that you want to test, we're going to put down next to them a number, which is the order of the channels that we're going to test. So let's say that we're going to start with Facebook ads and then we're going to add in some SEO. So we're going to put a 1 next to Facebook ads. We're going to put a 2 next to SEO. Now you need to make sure that you give these long-term channels enough time to see significant improvement. So any of the longer term channels, I'd say continue working on them for 3 to 6 months before you know that, yes, this is something that's really working well, really bringing me in a good number of customers. But you're going to have to start work on them in a particular month, okay? Now the paid advertising, the short-term traffic channels, these are going to give you a much quicker read about how effective they are. So normally with something like Facebook ads or Google ads, you'll know within a month what sort of traffic you're getting through and how well the thing is working. Of course, you'll want to optimize those ads and improve the performance over time, but still you'll get a reading, you'll get a feel for it fairly quickly. So what you've got to do, once you've put numbers down next to each of your traffic channels with the priority, you then want to write down the month over the next 12 months which you are going to commit to starting to test this channel. So let's say that you're going to do some SEO in January, just put SEO January. Let's say you're going to do YouTube in 4 months time and it's February, right? So you're going to say, I'm going to test YouTube in February, March, April, May. I'm going to test YouTube in May, so write May next to YouTube. And what we're looking for here is we're looking for our next 12 months of marketing activity to be written down. So we know each of the channels we're going to be testing in each of those months. Now, even if you don't know how to use these channels, part of your task that month is to get to grips with them, to learn what needs to be learned so that you can get the most out of that channel. We're not looking to get it perfect, we're just looking to run a test. So there's no pressure here at all. Right, once you've got your traffic channels down and you've got your prioritized plan, the next stage is to start to proceed now. Never leave the sight of setting a goal without taking an action. So here are some things that you can do immediately. Write up your daily customer and visitor targets and put them somewhere obvious, like on the wall behind your computer, on your phone, save them as your screenshot. You need to know how many customers you're aiming for every day, and that should drive everything that you do. I personally like to rewrite these targets daily. So I write them first thing in the morning, last thing at night. That means all of my activity throughout the day is focused on what are my profit, my traffic, and my customer goals every single day. The next thing that you can do is go to exposureninja.com/review. Get the free review. It's really good. In this free review, you'll get professional advice on what to do next. So if you're not sure which channels you should be targeting, go and get your review and we'll tell you these are the things that we think you should be focusing on. This is your priority for the next 12 months. So we'll essentially do the prioritization for you and give you a really clear plan of this is the stuff that you should be following. The next thing to do is commit to test the marketing channels that you've chosen in the months that you've planned. So actually commit to them. Stick them in your calendar. January, I know I'm going to be doing SEO. February, I know I'm going to be testing some Google AdWords. March, I know I'm going to be growing my social media channels. So we're not saying we have to do everything. You know, you've got a whole month to get this stuff set up and to start running tests. But you've got to commit to it. Now, if you have a marketing budget, what you might want to do is look for a partner company who can help with the specialist elements of this. So let's say that you're big on you're going to focus on SEO over the next 12 months. You might want a company who can step in and help you with this, because SEO can be a lot of work. Same with pay-per-click. If you don't know what you're doing with pay-per-click, with Google AdWords, you can spend a lot of money and not get particularly good results. So you might want to look for a partner company. And if you have a marketing budget, that's generally a good idea. It's generally a good idea to pay people to do the things that they're really good at if you're not experienced with them. My advice here is to find someone who you trust and talks to you honestly. With digital marketing, there's a whole lot of crap. We spend all day doing website reviews for people, and we get a lot of digital marketing agencies come through and get reviews for their own websites. Some of these guys are marketed so poorly, right? We've reviewed SEO companies that don't even have the very basics of SEO on their website. They have no idea what they are doing or what they are selling. So I'd be really careful about this. It's a market which is just flooded with sharks, unfortunately. Find someone that you trust and that talks to you honestly. If you can say to your digital marketing agency, exactly what are you going to be doing for me over the next month, they should be able to tell you exactly and without hesitation. So that's if you've got a marketing budget. If you don't have a marketing budget, if you're doing this yourself, then I would suggest finding some training and committing the time to learn. This is digital marketing is the most important thing that you can do to grow your business. So this is one of the most important things. If you're in charge of the marketing for your company, this is one of the most important things that you can do. Check out marketingu.ninja. This is a training platform that we run, which gives you training for each marketing channel. So inside Marketing You, there are videos which show you this is how to set up Google Ads, for example. This is how to do SEO to your own website. So the video shows you exactly what to do. All you need to do is do it for your website. It's basically a way of you getting a ninja digital marketing campaign, but doing it yourself. You don't need any special software or any experience to do this. It's completely jargon free, just hopefully like this video. Anytime we do use a phrase which you might not know, we explain it as well. So it's designed for people who've got absolutely no digital marketing background. So that's well worth checking out. And you can use Goals 22 to get £22 per month off. So head over to marketingu.ninja and you make sure that you use that voucher code GOALS22 to save £22 per month. There is a 100% money back guarantee. So if you're not happy with Marketing You anytime during the first month, then just let us know and we'll refund you all of the money from your first month's payment. So completely risk-free. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you really go hard at your next 12 months goals and set some stuff that you're really excited about. Let's catch up in 12 months, see how you do. So remember to go and check out marketingu.ninja to go and get some training on all of this stuff, and head over to exposureninja.com/review to get your free website and marketing review and plan.